No surprise on what's in this box. You saw it on the title and thumbnail, and we're just going to go ahead and open this. So this welder was sent to me, and now I'm going to do a unboxing and a review. I have a project in mind for this. Now normally I'm working on stuff like this behind me, but in this video we're going to be making a handrail for some concrete steps. But we'll get into this first. So here's the welder. It's from Sefaspe. The pronunciation is Sefaspe. So Fiaspe. This is the MMA160SE. This is a stick welder. I historically use MIG. So this will be a little bit of a learning experience for me. And hopefully everything that I need to do this welding is in this box, and I believe it is. So right here on top we have cables. We're gonna have the negative and the electrode. So this is going to be your ground and your electrode. We do have an adapter. This is a dual voltage unit, so you can run on 110 or 220. As you can see, it's not very heavy. We have 5 welding rods, a user manual with a quality control stamp, and this one did pass. This is going to be our mask. This handle is going to fit in these holes right here. They really need the flashing cut out of them. So you can see the flashing on these holes. Just going to go ahead and trim those up real quick. And once I get started on this, actually doing the welding, I'll use this mask for 1 or 2 of the welds, and then I'm going to switch over to using my ESOP mask. And the only reason I'm going through this is so that if somebody buys this welder, they'll be able to use that out of the box and not have to go buy any consumables or a helmet if they don't need to or want to. We're getting closer. All right, so here's our filter. We'll set this to the side and we'll get to this welder. We have a amperage control here, and then we have our negative or our ground and our electrode. And here, when we power it up, we're going to see OC. Not sure what that is till I read the manual. 110 and 220, so it should automatically sense what voltage we're using. Unfortunately, at this time, I can only test the 110. All right, you can see we've switched scenery. Now, the first thing I want to tell you before you do any welding, this is my opinion, you want proper PPE. So I have a welding jacket. I have some gloves for welding. This is, again, my personal opinion. It's very important. I will have a link in the description to the gloves and this jacket. Also, just to go over some of the stuff that comes with this, we have this mask, which is not amazing. You have to hold it with one hand, so you're already down a hand. I would suggest an auto darkening helmet, and I haven't used this with arc welding, so we're going to see how that works here in just a minute. So as far as PPE, that's where I'm at on that. I'm going to go ahead and get this plugged up. I'm going to go ahead and hook up the electrode and the ground, and then we'll plug it in. We'll take another look at the display on the front, and then I'll start practicing. I'll bring you along. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I I've never arc welded, or if I have, I don't remember doing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these hooked up. I'll get this plugged in and we'll see what the display does. Another thing I'd like to say is I am not a professional, especially at arc welding. And the way these go in, there is a little tab right here. We're gonna find where it locks, where it goes in, and it's gonna twist clockwise and it's gonna lock in. Same thing on the ground. It also has that little notch on it. Now that those are connected, I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. I'm a little worried. I don't think we want this to touch metal. I want to keep an eye on that. Another thing, this does come with a slag hammer, if you will, and a wire brush, but this is also kind of lacking. If you want to do this with any real success, or if you're going to use it a lot, I would probably go out and find a little bit better hammer and a little bit better brush. So this cable appears to be about 6 feet long, and I do want to plug it directly into an outlet so that we don't have any extension cords. So we might have to rearrange our setup. All right, we're going to plug it in. Right now, the switch is in the off position. This electrode is not touching anything. The ground is touching the tabletop, which is not a problem. So I'm going to turn on this yellow toggle switch. So until I'm ready, I'm going to shut this machine back off. Here you can see that it has detected we're at 110 volts, and the OC is for overcurrent, and this is the amperage. So hopefully if somebody's out there that is an expert at arc welding, they'll chime in and say, hey, you want to use these settings, blah, blah, blah. But I think this is going to be fine for somebody who just needs to do a repair on a mower deck, or just something to have around the farm, the garage, whatever. Looks like we've got maybe 2.5 millimeter is my guess, and I'm feeling like maybe I should look up a video on arc welding before I do this, just to get an idea what I'm doing. So I'm going to do that real quick.
2 minutes later.
Okay, so I watched one YouTube video on how to arc weld, and I'm basically a professional now that I've seen this video. What I'm going to do, I'm probably not going to use the shield that came with it, just because I want to try to do this well, and I think having both hands free is going to help with that. Because we are welding 1/8 inch wall, I have set this at 65 amps. I think we can go a little bit higher, but I think for this practice run, that's what we're gonna try. I'm just going to get my gloves on, my helmet on. I'll get the electrode in, which I can do that now. And on the video that I just became an expert at, they suggest, well, they don't suggest, they just mention that when it comes to the electrode, there's many different ways you can do it. You can do it 90, just whatever angle feels best to you. 90 feels pretty good to me, and I will be using my left hand probably to get started. Again, based on his video, the video I saw, we will not turn this on until we're 100% ready to go, and we are getting pretty close. You can buy these auto darkening helmets from Harbor Freight for fairly cheap. I forget how much this one was. It is ESOB. This one has a grind function, so you can switch over from welding to grinding. So you're aware, this is a welding table, and we have the negative, or the ground, clamped to the table. Our workpiece is on the table, so that's going to be our path to ground. And then once we fire up, this is going to be our arc. So I'm just going to try to weld this piece to this piece and see what we get. So I went back and I watched the footage from the beginning of this video, and I saw that we had a couple issues, audio being one. So I've got my external mic and the lights were an issue, so I think I've got that fixed as well. We are going to start fresh. I've got an inner race from a bearing. Going to try and weld that in here. I did clean up with a wire wheel, and these welds are horrible. So one thing I think I need to do is I need to up the amperage and just try to practice a little bit more. So that's what we're about to do. I'm going to weld this race on and see what happens. So let's take a look at these welds up close, which they're not pretty. But I think maybe we can see some progression. These are not penetrating here. Didn't even get onto the race. Yeah, so I've got some work to do here. Well, I don't really see a good weld except for maybe right here. Now, this is not a how to weld tutorial. This is just how this product works. Obviously, the better you are at welding, the better that's going to perform. This is straight out of the box, me just trying to teach myself. So what I want to do is clean up. I've got some angle iron here, so I want to clean it up and weld it, try to get some good welds on it. Unfortunately, I've ran out of time and I will not be able to do the project that I initially wanted to do in this video, which was a handrail. What I do want to do, just to try to prove that I have at least, I wouldn't say mastered, but at least gained some competence in doing the stick welding. And again, this has no bearing on that machine. I believe it has a lot to do with the user. You can see that it performs, and I am the one that needs to develop my technique. So for the cost of this thing being under $100 or so, I don't know what it's currently listed at, but it's right in that range. This is something that you could pack around in your car depending on the types of stuff you get into. This is something I plan on putting in my car, and if I run into somebody that needs some welding, I've got this ready to go. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and clean up this angle iron and see if we can lay down a decent bead. Now is the time we're going to go ahead and try to make a decent weld here. I'm just going to go on this inside corner and see what it looks like when it's done. And I don't care if it is a good weld or not a good weld. I will continue to try to teach myself how to do the arc welding or the stick welding, whatever you want to call it. But let's see if I can get these joined together and get a decent looking weld. I clearly haven't figured this out yet. All right, it's fair to say I do not know how to stick weld yet. Well, there you have it. The welder works. I think it works good. Compared to my other welder, I was getting similar results, so I can't fault the welder. I would definitely say that I am the issue. If you're looking for a cheap welder that will weld pieces of metal together, this will do it. It'll do it cheap. I'll have links in the description below. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer whatever I can. The more I get to know about this machine, the better I'll be able to answer those questions. Thank you for watching. If you are interested in the thing behind me, go ahead and check out the rest of my channel. I've got a playlist with this 65 Ford Ranchero on it. I'd be happy to share that with you.